Okay. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for joining today's live chat. My name is Valerie McLaughlin, Intuitive Heart Healer, and I help hold space with love so people can connect to their heart and spirit. I have a very special guest today. Lately, I've been calling him the Magic Man. I'm not sure how he feels about it, but I like the title. But Ryan has a unique gift, as we all do, and he shares his love through magic and helping to raise and lift people's spirits through magic. So I want you all to welcome Ryan, quote unquote, the Magic Man.
That's awesome. I love that name. So, I guess I'll begin, and I want to thank Val for having me on. It really means a lot to me. Wow. Okay, where do we start off? Let's see here.
So let me get you started.
Sure.
This way it'll be a little bit easier for you to jump in. So, and give a little backstory, because I always give a little backstory about how I met people. And we already talked, so I know I'm okay to share this.
Absolutely.
Most of you know that I work in a drug and alcohol rehab, and that's actually where I met Ryan. And it was this one time that he came around, and people were telling me that he does magic, and I do group healings over there, and they were like, yeah, he does magic. So I try to get him to do magic with my cards. My cards are a little bit bigger than his cards, and he said, next week, I promise I'll bring my cards and I'll do magic. And I said, okay. Sometimes people follow through in their promises. Some people don't. Ryan followed through with his promise. And during the session, I had asked him to perform magic because I knew I had an idea of what was going to happen when he did it. And what did happen was that the vibration of the room went from here to like here. It was absolutely crazy. And I loved it. I loved the whole feel for it. And I was like, wow, this guy has something special. What he brings to the world and the way he shares his gifts is special. And what he decided to do through this journey has been even more special. So let's start. How and when did you start learning magic?
You know, it's funny, Val, and just to say hello, everybody. How are you? I'm Ryan Loyle, and so how I got started into magic. First of all, it wasn't planned. It's not by me, at least. You know what I mean? But the spirits and the light around me, of course. As Valerie said, my past, I am in recovery, and it's funny, as I look back now, I see how the dots start connecting, everything kind of falls into place, and it's amazing because at that time, let me go back 2.5 years ago is when I got into it, and let me explain how I got into it. I was actually homeless in Atlantic City, and you know, things were bad, and of course, I don't ask for pity or nothing. I got myself there. I realized that, but what I'm saying is there was a time in my life when absolutely nobody was there for me because I wouldn't let them be, and that's when I came across cards, and that's why I'm so passionate about them. So I was homeless in Atlantic City, sleeping in bus terminals. I was sleeping in a Tropicana bus terminal this one particular evening because it was cold out and I wanted to get warm. So I noticed there was a deck of cards under one of the chairs there in the bus terminal. So I don't know what tempted me to pick them up. I mean, I know how to play, you know, rummy and stuff like that, but I wasn't a card guy. And I picked them up and I noticed that a few hours went by very quickly. So I thought, wow, what a great way to distract my mind and just kind of escape life and get me out of here for a little bit. So then it dawned on me, well, let me go down to the local library and learn, use the internet for free and learn to do these kitty tricks, this simple beginner stuff, you know, to try and get tips from the people in the casinos so I could eat and survive. So that's when I got introduced to it. So it's not like I wanted to, but I needed something I could fall back on to get some sort of money just to live each day and get by. So, yeah, it's crazy how that happened. And so magic literally saved my life and it changed my life. And that's why I'm so passionate about these cards. And that's why I'm so passionate about people. Because one thing I noticed, like I said just a second ago, was I escaped. And that's one thing I believe people are always looking for in this life. Everybody's just looking to escape life, man. They can't take it. And I mean, look at it. Look what's going on right now. You got, that's why people go to bars. That's why people do drugs. They're trying to escape something. You know, they can't deal with this pressure. They're just looking for something to say, just get me out of here just for a minute so I can breathe. And then when I realized that you can do that with magic in a non-narcotic way, it's incredible. It's absolutely, I get high on it. You get high, that feeling Val was talking about when the energy shifts from here to here. Like I tell you, sometimes it's so intense, I have to sit down because I start shaking and talking real fast, and I can't contain that positive energy. It's too much for me to handle sometimes. It really is, but it's one of the most amazing experiences you could ever witness in your life. I've literally seen it diffuse tense situations. I've seen it take someone very depressed to that moment to, you know, an extreme happy place in their mind. It's just incredible. I got so many memories right now. An example.
Well, I
To turn off my. Yeah, yeah.
remember when I asked you to do it, you were so super nervous. And I don't think you told me right away why you were so nervous, but you did actually tell me because it was the first time you were actually performing in front of that many people without using.
Exactly, and that was the big thing. And that's when, again, when I look back at my life and see how everything worked it out for good. Because okay, yes, I had an addiction, and specifically it was to methamphetamines, crystal methamphetamines. And I'm not going to go into that, but when you take that stuff, it makes you very into what you're doing, and that's where the word tweaking comes from. Anyway, so when I was on that a couple years ago, when I found this, and it was all mixed at first when I found the cards, right? So it really got me into cards. So I was doing this 10, 12 hours a day. So I see how that obsession at that time turned over into something good now. Because at first I thought I needed that to perform because it made me more outgoing and all this stuff. They were all lies, you know what I mean? But it's like one of those things I think I needed to go through to come across these and then further my life. And it's amazing. Yeah, like Val said, it's one thing to know how to do a trick, but man, to actually perform it flawlessly in front of a complete stranger, the feelings, the fear of rejection, fear, everything's fear-based. You know that, you know what I mean? But when you stand up against that fear and you pull through and you see the other side of it and you realize it's not as bad as you thought, it's one of the most amazing, self-satisfying feelings you'll ever have. And that can go with any adversity in life. It doesn't have to be addiction like me. Right now, I guarantee you, everybody's going through some sort of hard time with this crisis, with the pandemic and losing jobs and everything. Money, divorce, name it. But sometimes we have no choice but to get through it, you know. And I wanted to escape that choice in the past. Let me tell you one more thing. I went to take my own life. I actually went to jump off a parking garage at a casino, and this is right before I found the cards. And I was committed, man. Like, here's the ledge right here, right? My arms were wide up like an eagle. I was going. There was no stopping me, and I had divine intervention. I called the hand of God, whatever, but it was a little breezy. It was on top of a certain casino. And it literally, this tornado force wind just pushed me. It's like a big invisible hand just pushed me. I could have did all I could, right back into the roof. I fell on my butt and I cried. And I waited till the sun came up. And I remember that's the first time I kind of felt like warmth and love. And it was this weird experience I had. And that's when my whole life changed from that point on.
Yeah, I always tell people we all have this big spiritual support team, right? We all have these angels and loved ones and spirit guides around us. And we have free will, and they can't step in unless we ask them to, unless in certain situations. And you experience one of those situations where you have a greater purpose here on life. You have a lot more to do, and they knew that, and it wasn't your time, and that's where they stepped in and was like, back off. We gave you something else to do, and now use that.
And sometimes I question that, and I wonder why until I'm almost 40 did it happen? Because I'm 39 now, because this was a couple years ago. Why? But it's not my job to question that. It's my job. I've just got to believe it is what it is, and it's meant to happen this way. And I'm so thankful that it did, because I believe, like you said, we all have gifts within us,
Mm-hmm.
and that's why I love, if you guys ever go, I have a YouTube channel. It's Loyle Magic, by the way, and Loyle spelled Loyle. I I talked to Val. She'll put a link up at the end of this or whatever. You're more than welcome to check it out. There's some really cool stuff on there. Live performances, people running away, screaming. You watch the videos. Don't watch me. Watch the people's faces. Here's how it always begins. I walk up. Yeah, I'm a magician. Yeah, okay, man. Whatever. Let me see your dumb little trick. Starts like that every time. Used to upset me, but now I'm so used to it. Within 30 seconds, they're running like a 5-year-old kid at Christmas, begging for more. It's unbelievable. And to see
listen, when I need to raise my vibration, I watch one of your videos.
This is so fun, you know.
It just lifts me up.
It is. It's awesome. And you know, I get emails every day from kids all over the world, and it's crazy because they're telling me what an inspiration I am. For instance, I had this guy in Austria. Okay, this past Christmas, he wanted my autograph. I'm like, why is this guy? You know, if only I saw myself. If we all saw ourselves the way other people do, we probably would have half the issues we have now. So this guy is like commenting on all my YouTube videos, like over the top, exactly. You're so amazing. You should be in Vegas. I'm like, who is this guy? I'm like, is he messing with me? So I message him. By the way, I'm also the same name on Instagram, but I messaged him on Instagram. And I was like, what's up? He goes, do you know who you are? I'm thinking, do you know who I am? I'm like, I'm just a kind of guy with low self-esteem, blah, 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 and all that stuff. He goes, no, man, we have a small magic community here in Austria, the village, and we watch your videos twice a month. We meet and we study you. And I'm just like, wow. So it just goes to never show you. Just because you're not seeing it or hearing it doesn't mean that good things are going on because of you around you. It's kind of like that butterfly effect thing, I believe.
Yeah.
And there's an example right there. That's why I go into the ghettos and the hoods, and I swear to you, I love it. I feel more.
I want to talk about what you did at Christmas.
Yes, yes.
So I remember they might even bring Christmas Day. I'm sitting at my sister's and I go on Facebook and I see you out in your Christmas pajamas on the boardwalk.
I should have wore them.
handing out food and doing magic to the homeless. What inspired you to do that?
Well, number one, because I've been in their shoes, I know what it's like. And when you're just searching for love and looking for love and just looking for anything, and when love comes to you, that's an amazing feeling. You know what I mean? That really is. And that's why I wanted to bring these people, because they are beautiful. There was this beautiful lady out there, and she is beautiful. And by today's standards, nobody would think she is. Her face was sunken in. You know, could probably safely assume she was a crack or something. Absolutely no teeth, very bony. And I was walking down Texas Avenue, and that's where a lot of abandoned places are. And I was doing it to some people, and I saw her peek at the house. I said, come on. I said, get out of here. I said, I see you guys hiding there. Come on. I said, it's Christmas. So they all get out. And she's like, I'm depressed. I need to get lifted up. So I did a little thing. They loved it. Then I sat with her on a stoop, and I gave her a kiss on the cheek. And I said, you are one of the most beautiful people I've ever seen. And when is the last time you think someone told her she was beautiful? You know, I want to make an impact to them. But the thing is, you can say it, but they got to believe it. That's the big difference, man. People told me I'm an amazing magician, that and the other. You know, I never thought that for a while, but I've gained the confidence. I'm not trying to be the greatest magician. I want to be the most impactful. My magic is a magic with meaning and purpose. That's what's behind it. So I do feel more comfortable in those places now, and I have done very elegant parties, weddings, cocktail parties, bar mitzvahs. And it's so weird, I guess, because that really wasn't my style growing up. I feel more awkward in those scenarios than I do on the street. You know what I mean? So that's why I feel as though it was meant for me to go to these people who are hurting. I mean, why do you want to bring joy to people who are already paying for joy, right? Why do I want to go do it in Vegas? People are already having a good time in Vegas. Why not bring the joy to an area that freaking needs it? You know, an area that's shattered, that's run down, has nothing but problems and negativity. So when you do that, man, it just brings, I don't know, my passion. I got to tell you, first of all, you know how much we can learn by these cards? Like, one of my things is this. I say, look, when I get a big crowd and I'm done, I say, okay, now stop. I say, look around. You got, you know, Chinese, you got black, you got white, whatever, European. I said, but none of you guys even noticed that. You know why? Because you were too busy enjoying magic, and magic brings people together. That's the power of magic. Not, you know, magic isn't me. Magic is the end result of what happens when you let just the forces around you work, the positive energies around you work. That's what the magic is. The magic is lifting. It's encouraging. It's what gives people hope. And when I get done that, I explain that. I say, just like these cards, they're all different. Like, we're all different. And if I'm missing one card from this deck, guess what? I'm not going to use it. I can't use it. It's worthless to me. So if we learn from these cards and learn to work together, You know, so much can be accomplished. You know, there's like so much we can learn from that. And then when I get done, well, these are blue, but I usually have my red cards, and I say, even though we're all different, I say we all bleed the same. And I show the red side, and it's cool. And that's the message we're trying to get across to people.
I love that. Magic with meaning and purpose.
That's right.
That is absolutely beautiful. So I believe it was right after Christmas you started to look at different places where you wanted to kind of bring your magic, and you started to work with children,
Mm-hmm.
but not just any children.
No, gosh, I've done a lot of volunteer time, and let me say this, you know, I just want to say, and this is the truth, I didn't do it for the exposure and stuff. I do it because I just wanted to do it. You know, the exposure and all that stuff, and everything that comes with that helps me out in the future. That's just a byproduct. That's not the reason I'm doing it. It all started right before the children actually was the cancer center here in Summers Point, and at the cancer ward in Shaw Memorial. And I called the nurses and I said, look, he said, I would love to just donate some time and perform magic to the patients while they're receiving their chemotherapy. And that was an emotional experience. And the nurse pulled me aside afterwards, and she goes, we've just witnessed a miracle. She goes, we have never, and she used the word never, we have never seen every single patient smile that was receiving chemotherapy. You know, and it was hard for me too, because I first walked in there, I was good, I was ready to go, I'm happy, my spirits were high, and man, you walk in a place like that, it's heavy, it's dark, because you know, they're not happy. I mean, technically we're all dying, they're a lot closer than we are right now, and it's a weird feeling, you know. And there's even people, I remember when I asked them, they said no at first, and I passed them, went to the next person, and they saw how much fun we were having. I got called back there. They're like, all right, they're like, let me see what you're doing, you know. But yeah, it was, I went in my car and I cried, and because I wanted to talk about my experience with it. And down there, I had something called on footage. That was amazing as well.
Yeah.
Like,
You
life,
sent me a video on your way home of
yeah,
what you had done because it moved you so much. And in your video, you had things that were floating around you, and you wanted to get my feeling what I thought they were. And I totally
yes.
agree with you. You had angels floating around you in that video and all around your head, and it was
I
quite
even
beautiful.
said, Val, if you stopped at one certain time frame, you could see the wings on it, right?
Yep, you could.
Yeah, that was, and there was more than one. That was like, whenever I need an uplifting moment, I look at something like that, and I got to realize what my purpose here is. And that's what my whole life has been, searching for a purpose. And I can finally say full confidence, I found it, and I love it more than anything. I really do. And I can't wait to see where this leads ahead of me in the future. I really can.
And you've made such an impact on those kids. If I remember right, that you actually went back, though you went back a few times, but the one time you went back, you didn't even do magic.
Yeah, it's sometimes, you know, like you said, Valerie knows I'm pretty much a very intuitive person. I'm very spiritual, and I can read people very well as long as everything's intact. And I can tell when people just need to talk. They don't want to see magic, and just talking to them, that's magic right there. Holding the door open for an old lady, that's magic. You know, it's amazing. You just gotta get up there and do it. No one's gonna. I don't know how to explain it. Like, this is the first thing in my life that I've taught myself with absolutely nobody's help. So one, you want to get something done, just do it yourself, okay? And two, my channel, my whole thing is hashtag spread the love, all right? But then again, I got this other whole side thing where I say follow your dreams, and I encourage these kids in other countries, in India, these places, they're emailing me saying, people think I'm crazy, I'm getting into this. I say, look, man, you do something like that, it's going to be a lonely road in the beginning, because it is. You know how much time, thousands of hours by myself in front of the mirror it takes to do something like this? But now all the hard work's paying off. Now the reward's coming in. I'm so glad I stuck it out. So I encourage these kids, follow your dreams, man. Follow your heart. You know, if you're willing to go and take that road less traveled, it's hard and it's painful, but you'll be so glad you took it by the time you get through, you know, and I'm glad I took it. I've always thrown caution to the wind. I've always wanted to do this weird, you know, offbeat professions, but you know what? Someone's got to do it. Someone has to be a rocket scientist. Someone has to be an astronaut. Who says you can't? You don't know. You can do anything as long as it's not going to harm yourself. It's not negative. It's positive. Do anything you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and from there you did the Tim Tebow event, which is again touching kids, and
Yeah, it's amazing.
and you've been asked to do it was a TV show in Nepal for Magic.
Yes. And I got asked to be back there next weekend.
Yeah. And it's not just what you do, what you perform. It's the energy that you bring.
Exactly. And that's the thing about magic. You can get two magicians do the same trick. One's going to get a better applause than the other. Why? Just on his vibrations, on his energy, he's a better showman. Yeah, it's incredible, man. How can I say this? Let me see here. I lost my train of thought. It'll come back to me. But those kids, the kids, I'm getting phone calls. It's funny. This is how I know it's meant to be, okay? I prayed to God, my spirit guides, for confirmation. Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? And you will not believe throughout that month the dozens, if not hundreds of confirmations I've gotten of just performing to people. And they're like, hey, man, they're like, we've never seen, like, if you don't do something with that, that's a waste. Those are confirmations I get. I get people calling sometimes, my phone's not going off the hook, but I get calls and they're reaching out to me. I'm not trying to find work. They're finding me. And somehow they're being led to me. And they're like, look, man, we love your stuff. We'd love to have you. So I've done that. I've done fundraisers for the sheriff, local law enforcement, obviously, and we appreciate their hard work and the vets and everything. I've done veterans wings at nursing homes and just, yeah, it's amazing, man. It's so cool to see your life go from here to here, not financially, but spiritually. Because right now, I got a few dollars in my pocket, a bag of clothes in my back, and travel with a deck of cards. I'm the happiest man in the world.
Well, one of my favorite sayings, right? Your
What's
health
that?
is your wealth.
That's right. Totally agree with that.
And that I learned in my journey for many ways, and I feel like you've learned that in your journey too, in a different way.
Yeah. And it's funny when I was a union iron worker for 20 years and I hid behind that image my whole life because I didn't know how to identify myself or how to see myself. So those guys were like, the biggest, baddest, toughest guys in construction, walking on steel beams up in the air, and nobody messes with us. You know what I mean? And in my heart, I've always known I was meant to do something. And that whole 20 years, I hated it. I was miserable. I mean, and those guys, God bless those guys, they're talented at what they do, but I wasn't where I was supposed to be. And it didn't feel right inside. And it was great. It was amazing money. I mean, we're talking more than $60 an hour, but you know what? I wasn't happy. I was in fear every day of my life. And I hated putting on that mask of, now I go hang out, and they're tough guys. Let me tell you, I'm not like a tough guy. And these guys, I had to put on this mask and fit in with them and take that mask off, go home, be the loving boyfriend guy or the husband at the time, and gosh, man, 20 years. Yeah.
So I want to ask you a personal question that has to do with your recovery. Right now, in this pandemic, even being in lockdown, how have you been what tools have you been using to help you in your recovery? Because for some people it's challenging being isolated, not being able to go to meetings and have that community connection.
Right.
So what have you been doing to help yourself? I think some people really need to hear it and need another outlook, another way of looking at things.
Absolutely. And one thing that falls similar with recovery, even though you're not in recovery, is the fact that you got to reach out. Like God reached out to me here, and I do this. I stay actively involved with talking to people, talking to friends I've met through that profession. But yeah, it's but I also battle with bipolar, so and that gets in the way sometimes too, and that I could tell when I have a down week or an up week. But like everything in life, I'm an extremist, so sometimes I'll be practicing too much, and I gotta bring back down here because it's nights in a row. Sometimes I'll fall asleep on the couch practicing, and my poor girlfriend's to bed, and I'm just like, sorry, I got carried away. I need someone to tell me, all right, Ryan, it's 5 hours now, put the damn cards down. I do this. But to get back to your question, what tools would I be using? Meditation. I use meditation right now. Yeah, why we got this downtime in life? Use it to find out more about yourself. If you don't know what your gifts are, find out what your gifts are. How are you going to know? You're not going to know by sitting there and just, feeling sad. Get out there, keep an open mind to things, see if you're an encourager, see if you're a motivator, see if you're a good listener. We all got something in us that we have that's made to be put out there to help better the world and others, and it's not going to fall in your lap. How do you learn stuff? By exploring. How to learn this? By practicing. You just got to You know, curiosity kills the cat. Yeah, but curiosity can also further you in life too, if you want to know where your gifts are. So that's why I say that. And you just got to try. That's it. Don't, be so hard on yourself. If it doesn't work out, okay, try something else. Big deal. It's the worst that happens, and yeah, just, you got to reach out. That's what I tell people. It's a two-way street in life, You want to change, or this to change so bad, like, oh, I need to find a job, blah, blah, blah. Okay, are you filling out applications? No? Well, there you go. It's not going to fall in your lap. You got to go halfway, and then the forces beyond unseen will come the other half and meet you right in the middle. That's what it's about.
Awesome. So my sister's watching, by the way. She says hello.
Hey, Brenda. Oh, God, I love your sister. She's awesome.
We both had the pleasure of meeting you and working with you. So you use meditation as a tool to help you through your recovery right now. What else? And reaching out. Is there anything else?
Yeah, I'm a deep thinker, so I got no problem being with myself, obviously. So I write, I do poetry. Some people are better expressing their feelings, writing them down. Like, I did a video a while back. Like I said, take advantage of time of lockdown. If you have a feud with a family member or something that's been, unsettled for years, and that's the reason why you're talking to your sister, loved one, whatever, and put it out there on the table. One of you has to make the first move. Someone to be the bigger person and do it, because once those issues get settled and it's finally all cleaned up, you realize that all that time was wasted time you could have spent communicating and loving one another. Time is the most precious gift, because that's what we give, we can't get back. Seriously, that's what all comes down to. It's not money. Yeah, we need money to get by, but whatever. So yeah, use the time wisely. If you're in a family where you have kids and both parents work, well, spend that time with your kids. Find out what they're doing in their life. Find out who they're hanging out with, because I guarantee you there's stuff you don't know. Not bad things, but just stuff you don't know. It's just get it all up, man. Communication's key, and it's healing, and that's what love is. Love is just putting yourself out there for somebody else, no matter how you feel about them. Because I'll tell you what, I've had so many times people stab me in the back, walk all over me, and if they call me today and ask me for a hand, I would still be their first thing to do it to them, because I believe in karma.
That is an imperfect example of being in what I call the fifth dimension.
Yeah.
And Brenda says, thank you, and you're so enlightened. But let me touch on the fifth dimension real quick.
Sure.
We lived on, we were born, me, you, and a lot of people, until I think it's about 2012, in this third dimension. Most of us came into this third dimension where we hold on to fear, we hold on to judgment and everything. We shifted out, we've moved into that dimension closed, and now kids coming in are more fourth dimensional. Not to say we can't come in higher, but more fourth dimensional. When we go into this fifth dimension, where we can start to really create our reality even more so than we were, we release judgment. And you saying where, somebody that wronged me, if they call me up today, I'm going to be there. That is a huge lesson to learn to move into that fifth and be more of that fifth dimensional and be living more in your heart space.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
One thing if my first reaction to something, it's usually not the right one, because I believe instinctually as people, we just, it's all about just getting even, this, that, and the other, and it takes a lot of practice to, just to learn how to respond to things in a loving way, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one thing I've learned about myself. So, sorry, keep losing my train of thought. I was going to say something else real quick, but I forget. Oh, but one thing about, like you said, perception. Everything in life is perception. And I've learned so much from magic like that. For instance, I never believe what I see anymore, because it's amazing when you realize the power of the human mind. Oh my, unbelievable. It's like a secret weapon. I tell you, I've had people, and I'm not saying this to brag or nothing, but it's actually scary. I've done stuff within 5 minutes. I've had people question their own faith after watching me do things. I'm like, really? I'm like, if that's all it took, a complete stranger doing something in 5 minutes, you got to question your own faith. You might want to rethink your faith. You know what I mean? Don't always believe everything that you see. Like things in life, it may look impossible, but it's not. Trust me. It's just my whole theory. You see someone walking down the street, you don't know what's going on in their life. You don't know what they're going through.
Absolutely.
That guy might think about ending his own life today. You don't know. So right now his life seems impossible. So if I come along and show him something that he thinks is impossible become possible, I may give him strength to go through another day. And that's what people need.
Love that. I love it. And
that's my whole.
That symbolism of the illusion, you can't.
Exactly.
That's amazing, because what we believe are a lot of illusions that we tell ourselves that aren't true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Illusions. I mean, it's crazy. But you got to go on what you know. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it looks like this, but I know it's not. That's when I always revert back to the facts. So that's the biggest thing it's taught me is do not believe everything that you say. And it looks impossible. It's not.
Yeah. So you do street magic.
Yeah.
Obviously, right now, can't really be out in the street doing magic. So
Chill.
how are you doing magic?
I'm doing like online interactive magic. I actually got a booking next week for a family that they just want something different. So this guy calls me up and he's like, "Hey man, I got 2 teenage kids." He's like, "We're going crazy." He's like, "Would you mind for $3 if like half hour, 45 minutes doing interactive magic through like I'm doing you guys right here?" I said, "Yeah, man, sure, absolutely, and I'm sure it's going to go well." So to answer your question, I'm doing it through these online chat sites, which unfortunately not everybody is on there for the same reasons. But regardless, I just ignore that. And there are people on there, and if you guys go to my channel, you'll see the videos. It's about seeing the reactions. It's great. It went a lot better than what I thought it would. Honestly, it's cool.
Yeah, I shared the one in this group where the young lady called you a wizard, because I just love that. I love that she called you a wizard, and the reactions were really cool. And there was another one with a young man, and I think I shared it on my actual page, because you were like, that smile, that happiness on your face. That's why I do what I do.
It
So
is.
along the lines
The crazy thing is, and it's a common misconception, people think that we become magicians because we want the attention. It has nothing to do with that at all. We were empaths, and we finally found our niche where we fit into the world. It's not about me. It really isn't. It's about the other person. Of course, I get something from it. I get the joy of seeing, and sometimes I got to pinch myself and say, I can't believe that I'm capable of using this gift to make that person feel that way. And that's such a cool feeling. And like you said, the wizard thing, I've been called demon, Satan worshiper. It's ridiculous, man. That stuff used to like really offend me at first, but you know what? I take it as a compliment now, because that means I performed it so well that they have no other explanation but to jump to that. Which goes to show you, again, people, why do they jump right to something evil but they can't explain something? Or it's like, it's just crazy. Once you learn how people think, I've learned so much about psychology. It's not even fun. Like I can make people think of a certain card without them even knowing, just by certain words, cues, tones of voices, setting the frequencies, and the energy. It's amazing. It's like you have a superpower. I swear it feels like it sometimes.
You do have a superpower. We all have superpowers. You do have a superpower. I loved, we were having a conversation yesterday, and you told me you were, and I know you may not be ready to share this, and you probably haven't, but I thought it was absolutely amazing that you were looking for a way to use the cards for a purpose, to send, to show a message to people.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I know it's going to come, and you're going to know exactly what that is when it happens. But I love the fact that you take this and you're using it. You're not using it. You're allowing it to channel through an even important message to people.
Yeah, exactly, man. This is just the icebreaker. This is the connection tool right here that I use to get the message across. What a great icebreaker, man. This is like carrying a sword. I'm telling you. I swear sometimes.
Well, it is. Really, you told me that story where you started using magic, and it like settled 2 gangs in Atlantic City that were about to go at it. So it is a sword.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Yeah, I was going because Bally's, Wild West, and Caesars are all connected in Atlantic City here. It's like, and you can stay inside and go through all 3. So I was walking from Bally's to Caesars. So I had to go through Bally's, Wild West. So I'm walking through where the mountain bar is, and unfortunately, there's a lot of drunk people and young people, and a lot of stuff happens down there. So I'm walking through. I didn't know at the time, there's these 2 gangs, supposedly. Well, they were. I was told they were afterwards by the police. And I guess it was a tense situation. They were like, starting to get into it. So I'm walking through. What's up, guys? I'm like, guys like magic? It's just like that. They're probably, who the hell is this guy? And they're like, I think a actual bystander said yes. And I started doing it to them, and they started screaming, freaking out. And then I got their attention. And before you know it, I had I think 25 or 30 people, and they are freaking out to the point where they had to break it up. First, they're about to break it up for violence. Now they're going to break it up because there's too much joy. What is that? But whatever. And then the guys, the head of security, guy's name's Frank. I won't say his last name. He says, thank God. He says, you walked through. He says, or else he goes, I don't know what would have happened. And seriously, who knows? And he goes, man, they were about to go at it. And just a few minutes later, I guess, they forgot about it. They both went their separate ways. But that was another example. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
And
it's like,
I don't think we can sit here and talk about your magic without actually you doing some tricks.
Oh, yeah.
I think people need to see you shine, and I think we need to raise our vibrations a little bit and bring in that joy and happiness.
Oh, I wish I had my marker. I was going to raise some cards. That's right. Yeah, actually, something really cool. Check this out. I'm just going to put the camera down so you guys see my cards. Let's see what we got here. So when I first walk up to people, I try to show them I have skill first. So I say, oh, you guys like magic? Do like a little card spring, just something like that, right? Start doing the one-handed cuts and everything. Just around like that, some swing cuts. I say like you guys know what it is, but I spin at my fingertip. This is a pretty cool move. Look, and it goes right around like that. It's pretty cool. It's real pretty, right? I'll show you how magicians. Actually, I'll do a card first. You know what, Val? How about this? How about you pick a card, Val? I can see it. It's okay. I'll show you. When you see a card you like, make a connection with one. I'll take it out of here.
That one.
Right here. You got it. Here's the 7 of Hearts. 7 of Cups. So watch this.
No, you were learning. I love that.
Hey, we're learning from each other.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to take the hearts, and we're going to put it about middle of the deck there, right? So look, you can see it was more towards the bottom, really, right? We go like that. We just put it right in. So Val, when you snap your fingers, watch what happens. Snap your fingers. Look, just like that, right? The card comes right to the top. It's the craziest thing. And then we take your card. Look, I'll let it fall right over. Whoop, just like that. I want to cut the deck open like this. You'll see it slide in, right? Whoop, get down there, right there. So like if I snap my fingers, it doesn't listen to me. It's not my card. Look, it's the 5 of Hearts, right? If you snap your fingers, go ahead. It's the craziest thing, right? The 7 of Hearts comes right back to the top. I don't know how it happens, but it just happens. The cards have a personality of their own, right? So look, we're going to bend your card, Val, like this. I put a bend the card like that. We're going to take your bent card. We're going to put it to the top of the deck, right? See that bend in your card right there?
Yeah, I see it.
So I put the deck on top. That's where it gets crazy. Watch. Go ahead, snap your fingers. Just like that. Look, it listens to you. It jumps right to the top. It says, here I come, Val, right there. So that's pretty cool. And I'll show you. This is really cool. I actually have a magician's website that's you're going to buy my tutorial how to do this move. This is a very advanced move. I'm going to show you how magicians control cards. This is crazy. Watch. I can literally stop anywhere in the deck that I want. Say I stop. I don't know, right there. 5 of Hearts, right? So as I put these cards on top, just like that, right? You already missed the move. Put the 5 of Hearts back on top that quick. See, it's crazy. And what I'll do is I'll stop again and leave the card face up in case you guys missed that. Which card's this? Oh, it's Val's card. Look at that, 7 of Hearts. Oh, look, I'll put it right on top. Look, don't take your eyes off the top of the deck, right? Just go like that, right up top. See, it's like that. It's crazy. And I'll leave the cards all face up. That's I would do the ace. Ace of clubs right there, right? Put this on top, right? All I do is just turn the deck over like that, and the ace of clubs comes right to the top. All right, and one more. Take 10 seconds to do my last trick. Here you go, Val. Let's see if I can do this. I mean, messed it up. I got to practice anyway. Tell me when to stop, Val.
Stop.
She says right there. Okay. That's going to be your card right there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
All right, check this out. And I take these cards. Look, I just dribble on top like that, right? And we're going to shuffle your cards up. Look. Let's give the deck a cut like this, right? Now let's hope I can do this. I'm going to cut the deck with one hand, flick it out, and hopefully catch it over here. So let's see. Card's right about, I guess is right there, right? Go around like that. Watch this, goes behind the deck. Watch this, Val. One card pops out of the deck right there, right? And hopefully, oh, well, I didn't flick it right, but that's it.
That is it. That was the card.
Supposed to go, there we go, like that. Anyway, I'm working on that one, so thank you.
I could sit here and just, it's an awe, and, you know, to think like it's an illusion, like you do this and you do that, but just, I still can't figure out how you do half of what you do anyway.
Yeah, well, you know, that's not
And
tell people. It's not meant for you to figure out. Just enjoy it. I'm the one that put the hard work into you to enjoy this. Like, I get it all the time. People are like, oh, he's a magician. He's trying to fool us. No, sir. I want to entertain you. I'm the one. Because that feeling you get where like, oh, my God, how did he do it? Blah, blah, blah. That's where you guys have to hand over me, because I don't experience that feeling that much anymore, at least not with card tricks, because I can confidently say I almost know how 100% of all card tricks are done from these magician forums I have to audition to get into with people who work with David Blaine, by the way, and Chris Angel and all that. But I don't get to experience that. I really don't. I rarely get wowed anymore. But so take it for what it is for you guys, because that feeling of wonderment is something you guys get a lot more than me.
Yeah, I think somebody asked you, I think the one time when we were around, to show them how you did the trick. And I was like, I don't want to know. I still want to be in awe. I still want to be amazed.
That's right.
That's why I love doing what I do, because, you know, it doesn't matter how much I do it. When a spirit comes in and gives me or shows me a sign, I'm still like, whoa, that's so cool. And that's how I feel with the magic when you do it.
Well, that's what I feel about you and your sister. When you got, yo, by the way, guys, if you experience Reiki and what Val and what Brenda does, oh my, it is like, I think they have a superpower. That's what I think, because it has opened me up so much. And again, there's another example where I had to keep it up in mind, because at first I never heard of it. I didn't know what it was, but I gave it a shot, and look what happened because of that. And Val knows I'm a huge fan of it. And that opened me up into the whole world of energies, universe, what that was, because I didn't know anything about it. And Val and I had some great talks, and she's such a great teacher, and so is Brenda. And the answers they give me have really helped me out in this life. And if this is the last day I ever hear from her, I will never forget them. Honest to God.
Well, thank you so much. And like I tell everybody, it's you open it up, you allow it to happen. So
How long have we been talking? I only got a clock on. I don't even know.
It's 5:43 right now.
Wow, man, time flies, doesn't it?
It
There
does.
isn't enough time.
I do it. It always happens.
Oh,
And you know, you talk about the energy and how it like raises your vibration and everything, and how sometimes you're like, come up here and you come back, and we've talked about this, we've had conversations, but that's like, I explain to people, even when the work that I do, when you raise that vibration so high, and you have to gradually come back down. So a good technique for you is to ground before you go, to ground and drop that anchor. So imagine the anchor coming from, I like to imagine it from my heart going down my spine into Mother Earth and anchoring into her core. And if you practice that to stay grounded, that when you go up so high, you will it'll help you gradually come back instead of coming crashing back. Like all of a sudden you feel the sugar, and then you have this sugar rush crash.
it's exactly what it feels like.
Yeah. Sometimes I call it, because sometimes it doesn't matter how much you do that, because you just end up channeling, being so much energy. That has happened to me a few times, and I call it my spiritual hangover.
Yeah. Oh, I know. It's like it's like a truck ran. It's unbelievable. And one thing I learned to do is to listen to the energies, because I can't tell you, there's been a lot of times where I planned on going and performing at night, and I walk into a very heavy, negative energy filled area, and I've tried to fight it before and do stuff, and it went horribly wrong. So from now on, no matter how bad I want to do it, if it just doesn't feel right, I go with that and I get out of there. There's been times where I was performing, things were going fine, and I feel this sudden huge wave of negative energy come over me. I'm like, man, what? It's almost scary. Something's about to go down or something. I would leave, and like 3 minutes later, a fight breaks out or something. Like I've learned to recognize those things now and feel it. And they ask me, how do you get such great spectators, Ryan? How do you this? I can't explain it to them like how we're talking, like, because honestly, when I walk by a group of people, I feel the energy. I do. I can connect just by walking by somebody and feel if they're going to be a good reaction and enjoy it. And I can't tell other people that. They think I'm crazy. You know what I mean? Or they just won't understand, should I say?
Yeah.
Rather. And but that's how I do it.
Yeah.
You know, it just happens. When you stop trying to control your life and make things happen the way you want it to, and learn to let go and let the energy and the universe try to take its course, you'll be glad that you let go. Now, we all have a problem with that. Trust me, I know, and I still do. But you'll be very grateful if you let go.
You do it. You let go 9 times out of 10. You let go so much more than you used to.
Yes. Thanks to the help of you guys and just everything else that's happened and the place I was at for treatment. Like, I'm serious, man. I would never want to relive my life again. I always say that. Never would, but I'm sure as heck glad I did. And because it made me who I am today. And I think one of the biggest changes for me was, instead of having so much anger, like you were talking about anger before, I used to have so much anger at the past. I've learned to embrace it, rather than be angry at it. And that was a hard change for me. But as soon as I learned how to embrace it, that changed a lot in my life.
Yeah. I like that. I like that a lot. Tina said, thank you for sharing your story. I will look up your videos. Keep up the positive energy and helping others, with smiley face, hearts, and the universe.
Thank you, Tina. I appreciate that. That's nice. And it's funny, like I hear stuff like that and people tell me I'm amazing, and I still have yet to learn how to take a compliment or anything, because it's weird for me. And you know what I mean? Because that's one thing I got to work on, just learn to accept it for what it is. Because I usually, not to offend you, Tina, but I like kind of blow them off. You know what I mean? But not in a bad way, but just like, I don't believe it, should I say? Or you know what I'm trying to say, right? Just
yes, you're.
It feels weird when they turn the whole subject around back on me, and it's like, hey guys, Ryan. No. I'm like, please don't. I'm like, just let everybody do what they want to do. I'll approach them. You know what I mean? But thank you, Tina, so much. That means a lot.
Can I give you a little? Because I understand where you're coming from. You can still receive the compliment, but also still allow people to understand what you do. So just like you just said that compliment to me and my sister, and I said thank you, but I want you to see how much you were open to it and you did the work.
Gotcha.
So it becomes a relationship, but you're also accepting, because our hearts are meant to give and receive, and we want them to give and receive in balance.
That's the key, balance right there. And with my past, that's always an ongoing struggle for me. But I'm hanging in there.
Balance isn't this. I keep telling this there. Balance isn't always being this. It's going like this.
Oh yeah.
And not doing this.
You wouldn't know what balance was until you start getting out of
Yeah.
focus.
So it's just kind of staying in this ebb and flow instead of these drastic ups and downs.
Yeah, because like my problem would always be I wouldn't realize I'm out of balance until I'm way up here. I gotta be able to like okay, Ryan, start to get out of balance, start coming. You know what I mean? I gotta be able to recognize that, which I'm starting to.
Yeah, yeah. And believe it or not, starting to accept compliments will help you in that.
Okay, yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And if only everybody in the world just knew I don't know, just had to want to give love, which, I'm sure somewhere deep down they do. Like, listen, here's what I always say. I know I can't change the world, but I can change my world. And my world consists of where my 2 feet go. And everywhere I go, I imagine it's like 10-foot radius. And anybody that comes in that radius that crosses paths with me, you better believe I want to show nothing but positivity and love to. And that's just how I roll. One thing huge I did do, and you guys might, everyone's different with this. I limit the negativity in my life. I don't watch TV anymore. I just don't. I don't like TV. I don't watch TV. I don't watch the news. And what I want to fill my head with negative news when it's about to shut down for the night, or just wake up the rest of the day, And if someone comes to my house and they start talking about somebody else, I don't want to hear it. You want to talk to somebody else? Because if they ask me, I heard something, I'm going to say yes, I did. If you limit that, I mean, it's basic law of attraction, right? If you fill yourself with nothing but love and positivity, that's all you put out. That's all you have to put out. And if that's all you put out, that's all you attract with yourself. And everything in life starts going better from that point.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So true. So any final thoughts before we say our goodbyes for today?
Are you asking me?
Yeah.
I know. Yeah.
It was weird. It just sounded like a little kid just came through. I don't know if you heard it. It must have been a bird, but it sounded like a little kid was just like right with you and started talking right before you did.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. That's awesome. No, final thoughts. Just thank you. Thank you for your time, because I realize you guys just gave me the most precious thing you can't get back, and I really am grateful. I want to thank you for that, and thank you, Val, for staying in touch with me. And teaching me how to believe myself when I wasn't at times. I can always fall back on her for the tools when I need them, or that. So final thoughts. Just spread the love.
Yes, love that. Absolutely love that. So my final thoughts. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. I can't wait to go on one of your adventures with you when we are allowed to go back out and do that, because I I want to experience the
Is
interaction
what
with your guests together and not just through videos, because there is a little bit more to that. And I am looking forward to the positive message that you find in your magic tricks when you start working with that. And I can't wait to see it. So keep being the magic man, spreading the magic with meaning and purpose like you're doing it, and shining your light, because the world needs people like you in it.
Yeah, well, people like me need supporters too and everything, because we don't always feel like this way every day. When I do realize that people are watching and it is affecting the people, when I get those emails, it's one of the best feelings. That's what keeps me going. It really does. It's just, you know what I mean? So thank you. It's an honor being on here. It really is.
You're welcome. Well, thank you everyone for being here, and have a great day. If you're watching this on the replay, give us a shout out. Let us know what you think, and